What's up?
Hey guys, back again. Doing a little bit of a late one this time. Had some scheduling issues happen, but we are here.
So, as always, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened last week, talk a lot about what is coming up this weekend, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. Got Ninja Crack in here, Top Knot Thought over here to my left.
He did it. He actually did it. He did it, y'all. I wasn't thinking he said he was going to. I didn't think he would. Leave it alone, man. Leave it alone.
I can't help it, man. That shit's distracting.
Well, yeah, we got some pretty interesting things to talk about and little tidbits here and there in between.
So, first order of business, UFC Utica, UFC Fight Night 131, UFC Fight Night, Romero versus Marias.
It was dope. It wasn't as fun of a card as I thought it was gonna be. Like I thought it was gonna be much more of a barn burner than it was, but it was still a decent card. The lineups were good. Like you could tell, like the first fight, it was like, and then just kind of like upped its difficulty a little bit as it went along. And the last fight, the main card, was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I talked about this card. It's like there's some real fun matchups on there. There's a lot of potential for it to be a sleeper. Not everything that has the potential to be a sleeper is a sleeper. Oh, just because you think it has the possibility of being completely awesome doesn't mean so. But there were some good finishes, a couple of really fun fights. But
yeah,
quick bottom to the top rundown. There's Jose Torres and Jared Brooks. That guy knocked himself out with a slam.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Johnny Eduardo, Aldo's longtime training partner, Muay Thai coach, got submitted. Desmond Green and Gleison Tebow, not surprised that Tebow lost. He's been around for a long time. Bella Muhammad, didn't really care. Good win for him. Tamer and Lentz, glad Tamer won. There were some fouls, eye pokes, fence grabbing, shit like that. Figured he'd beat Lentz. Just kind of, he has that potential that I'm always on the lookout for. I like prospects, and he's got some good skills going for him. Sad to see Lentz lose, but it's the game of the game. Eubanks and Murphy went it kind of how I expected it to.
Yeah.
Main card, okay. Opener, Alvi and Vellante.
Right,
really sloppy, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to bag on these guys too much because they're professional athletes.
We're not in the ring, or we're not in the octagon with them. But yeah, it was. If
sloppy.
You've ever watched a professional fight, of high caliber, and then you watch this one, you're like, definitely something's off here.
You can't crap on us too much for saying that there's a difference between what Sam Alvey and Gian Vellante did compared to like Roy Jones Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins or John Jones and Gustafson. There's levels to this stuff,
yeah, you can definitely tell that there were a couple of fighters from the lower tiers of everything, but yeah. Still a good fight. Sloppy, but still a good fight. It was okay.
Yeah,
I've seen worse.
Yeah,
I've seen much worse.
I've seen much worse. Not gonna go into real detail on that. Julio Arce and Daniel Tamer, I really enjoyed Arce's
too, yeah.
performance.
Arce actually, it took him a minute or two to find his rhythm, but once he did, man, it was solid. It was super solid.
I was impressed by him. He really picked Tamer apart. I look forward to seeing him fight.
Golf clap.
You picked Saunders and Ellenberger.
Yeah.
I got it wrong, but I will say I did point out that the clinch possibility. I mentioned Campman knocking Ellenberger out in the past, so I did somewhat mention that was a possibility. Well, so I at least acknowledged it.
Well, it looked like Ellenberger was going to actually land some of his big right hands that he normally does, but the minute he got in that clinch, it was over.
You saw that there was that first knee that I remember seeing. It was where Saunders shot up just a real short knee, touched him, and Ellenberger tucked that elbow in.
And the minute he did that,
and Saunders realized it, he doubled down on the clinch, threw another short. You don't have to always throw the really powerful arching knees in the clinch. Sometimes just that little short, straight from the floor to the top knee works. I mean, we've seen DJ do it. We've seen a lot of good guys do it.
It's the same thing with the shoulder push, or even just the small tight elbows. It doesn't take a whole lot of wind up to get power with it. If you can just shoot outward with it a little bit, even that knee, we saw
the elbow example with Ortega and Edgar. Edgar came in for a strike. Ortega timed nice elbow. I mean, it's all about how you use the tool.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line there.
Martial arts is always kind of like, to me, it's always been kind of like a gun. Gun's only as good as the person shooting it. You know what I mean? Both people could practice, say, taekwondo, but if that person's not using it as well as the other person, it's not going to end up well.
Second fight, Walt Harris, Daniel Spitz. You know, good knockout for Harris. You know, he lost 2 in a row. I'm glad, you know, he gets that win. Hate it for Spitz, but again,
it's the name of the game.
Yeah, name of the game, and I wasn't really impressed with Spitz. No. I'm not trying to crap on the guy, but I wasn't impressed. Co-main event, Gregor Gillespie. He's a prospect, dude.
Dude,
he's
I was
a blue
so
chip
stoked
prospect.
to watch that fight, and then when it happened, it played out exactly how I thought it was. I was super stoked about that. Got him in an arm triangle choke in like I think the second round.
Yeah,
it was clean.
Last minute of the second. He has all the makings of a great wrestle boxer. You know, he's going to run into some guys where they're going to play the rangy striking game with him, and it's going to mess him up. And then he's going to have some guys where he's just not going to be able to take him down. It's all about how he faces that adversity. He's got to keep evolving, keep mixing it up, continue to work on his striking. You know, you can always be better. Never think you're perfect, because that's, you know, you can get fucked up doing that.
Well, that's the great thing about him being a prospect. He's got a lot more room to grow and learn and become a better martial artist.
Legit wrestler.
Yeah.
Legit
Oh,
wrestler.
yeah. No, for sure. Like Kyle said, the only problems he's really going to come up against is people trying to either range fight him or just out-wrestling his wrestling.
Yeah, either just being able to shut down the takedown, just deny it, and be like, you know, have just as good MMA wrestling, or guys who are just going to completely deny him the distance and timing to be effective in the shots. You know, those rangy kickboxer boxer types who are just going to not let him get in on the hips. But I'm excited to see where he goes. Those are just kind of like some pontifications about what he might run into. He might run into those problems and pass with flying colors. We don't know. That's why he's a prospect. We look forward to seeing him fight more.
We're just going with what normally goes against wrestle boxers, and those are the things that we've found that kind of...
Styles make fights.
Yeah, pretty much. But congratulations to Gregor Gillespie for the win. It was a good fight. Congrats to you, bro.
Yeah. Main event.
Man, I totally thought, I thought this was going to go sideways. I was 2 out of 3 with my picks. I thought this was not going to go the way it went at all.
I'll put it how when me, you, and Steve were outside talking earlier, you know, you could play that fight back 100 times, and it could have a different outcome each time. These guys are very skilled. They come from good camps. They're very well rounded. It's just, it was Moraes' night, you know. He threw that beautiful switch kick. It was super fast.
Yeah, he didn't even throw up a feint. He just hop switched and threw it, and it was so quick that Rivera, he just didn't have time to. You could see his arm try to go up a little bit with it, but he wasn't quick enough with it.
It was almost it was very fast. It was just fast, perfect technique, and it seemed like a moment where Rivera kind of is like, is it high, is it low? You know, you saw the arm move for the block, but you couldn't really tell. Was he bringing his arm low? Was he bringing it? He never got the chance. It hit him in the head.
Dude, it sounded like a baseball bat cracking against something. Yo, it was nasty. It was dope.
Yeah,
it's
hard to do a real in-depth breakdown of that fight because it was only 33 seconds. You know,
there's not a whole lot to talk about. Guy walked out, they touched gloves, got kicked in the head.
And,
that's pretty much it.
Guys get caught, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't go against anything about Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera is still a fantastic martial artist. It's just sometimes you can be one of the best out there and still just get caught, man.
Yeah, there's always somebody who can whip your butt. There's always going to be somebody who's better than you. And you know, whatever it is you're doing, there's going to be somebody who can beat you.
But on the other end of this fight, Moraes is going to go places with this, man. He's definitely going to be getting title contendership soon.
Mark Henry, Ricardo Almeida, Frankie Edgar, Eddie Alvarez. He's got all the right people around him.
You can see it too. You can see his trainers in his fighting style. It's wild. He looks like a little mixture of
He looks like Eddie Alvarez and Frankie Edgar had a baby. He's bald and he's got a darker complexion like Eddie Alvarez, but he's got a very baby face like Frankie Edgar, you know. And
man, it was a damn good fight, though. It was a good card. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best ones, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I want to see him fight the winner of Garbrandt and Dillashaw.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's the fight at 135 I want to see.
Dude, Garbrandt versus Moraes would be sick. That would be gnarly.
Let Jimmy Rivera fight Dominic Cruz if Dominic Cruz can get healthy. If Cruz is, wanting that comeback. Let Moraes fight the winner of that fight. And I'm sorry, Rafael Assunção, you got the short end of the stick, bro.
It happens,
I'm
man.
sorry.
It happens.
Yeah, but solid card. Not the greatest, not the worst. That's kind of the take on it. Anything else on that before we move on to Glory?
Not too much, man. Like I said, it was a good card. I enjoyed it. Other than that, if you guys want to see anything about it, you can probably find highlights of it on YouTube, places like that.
Fight Pass.
Definitely check out the Moraes fight, though.
You're going to be able to find that.
33 seconds. You can probably find clips of it everywhere.
I shared that on Facebook like 30 seconds after it happened. I was like, ha, told you.
Yeah, you see me in a poster like, suck it.
But not going to lie, I had to work and completely missed the Glory card.
Yeah, same. I missed it altogether. I didn't see a damn fight on that one, and I feel bad about it. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so not a whole lot of detail going to go into that. We're just going to give you the rundown of who won their fights and whatnot. And other than that, we'll move on.
Rico Verhoeven won. Predicted it. Harut Grigorian defended against Alim Nabiev. Both of these were 5-round unanimous decisions. Thought Nabiev would be a good test for Grigorian. Grigorian defended the title. You're not the champ till you defend the belt. Congrats to him. Verhoeven, it's what I expected. He's the best heavyweight kickboxer on the planet right now. I want to see him fight Badr Hari again. It's me being selfish. Ilunga won on the Super Fight Series. Good for him. He's a solid guy. Murat Grigorian won. So both those guys got the wins tonight. Not going to go on too long because, again, like I said, I missed out on this card entirely. I know I'm a terrible person. I should die in a hole.
We're super good at our jobs, guys.
Yeah.
Trust us.
We're getting there.
We're professionals.
All right. Any thoughts on that?
Man, really, that's everything that kind of happened this past weekend. I don't think there was a Bellator card because we just got done with Bellator 200, so they didn't really do nothing.
Yeah, I try. When I shoot these, I try and say it's like, okay, what is a card that's going to be easy for me to get the unsuspecting watchers? Like, how could I convince someone? It's like, hey, maybe you could have an interest in this sport, or whether it be boxing, kickboxing, MMA. Like, I try and bring something to you that's like, okay, this is something you should watch because I bet you'll enjoy it. That's my premise. Is like anytime we try and do fight breakdowns or bring up specific cards, because I could pull up the boxing schedule that I have on here and list off a bunch of fighters who I've never watched, and not that I wouldn't like to watch them fight. It's just there's so many fights. There's only so much time we have to do this in. So moving on to this weekend.
I wish I could just binge watch fights though.
Yeah,
just like all day, every day, just fights. That's it.
Yeah, when I'm when I get old and I'm not in the army anymore, and I'm not working a job and I'm not going to school, I'll probably be doing this. Except I'll be some old timer on talk radio.
We're gonna be aggressive old people.
Yeah, got nothing on counting one.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much everything that happened this past weekend. I'm good on everything. Kyle, we can move on to the next little segue.
Stellar pay-per-view card. This is what I always love about the UFC. Is like when they churn out a super card, they churn out a super card. Like from bottom to the top to the bottom. This is a good card. I love these matchups. There's only 2 fights on the card where I'm just like,
Yeah, like the CM Punk fight. Nothing against him. Like I said, I don't ever. These are just our opinions. We're not saying they're bad people or anything like that. I just have no interest in seeing him. I watched his last fight.
I'm going to go into detail on that fight. Let's start from the bottom.
I seen that name and
I
was
know,
like,
I got a good point I'm going to make on that. Trust me. All right, so Fight Pass prelims. Follow us on Facebook for exact start times. Typically, the Fight Pass prelims start somewhere around like our time zone because I'm not going to cater to you.
Rude.
I'm sorry.
Kyle.
But I always have to look at the time zones for East Coast and West Coast and then do the math on when it is for me. So if y'all guys are on the coast, you should know when the time zones are going to be. For us, it's going to be somewhere around like 5:30 for the Fight Pass prelims. Mike Santiago and Dan Iggy, I don't know who either one of these guys are. Not to say they make some bad fighters. I just don't know. That's bad on me. I watched this fight and I'll have seen him fight.
And also, they could be just new guys or journeymen that haven't had a whole lot of airtime. Yeah. It's really what it is. A lot of times when we don't know a fighter, it's just because they have not had a lot of
I can comfortably say I've watched over 3,000 fights in my life. I'm sorry if I can't remember each individual that's been in one.
He's got a rad fight collection. So
I've got about 3,000 fights on that DVD shelf right there. I've got UFC events from 40 all the way to 180.
So when we say we don't know them, it's not that we're crappy at our job. It's
I
just,
only can remember so many
much.
names.
Yeah, that too.
I don't remember the names of some of my coworkers. All right. Anyways, stop. Moving on. Clay Guida, Charles Oliveira. I really like this fight.
I'm excited about that one. I love me some Clay Guida.
I think Jack Slack was talking about, he's like, Clay Guida's kind of pillow-fisted, and that works out because Charles Oliveira is kind of chinny. Now it's a horrible accent. I feel ashamed of that. I'm not going to apologize though.
But you're right though. It's true. Their matchups like if
Guida,
it was anybody else, they would be in some trouble. But it's like the perfect.
Guida has always been that very hyperactive on the feet.
Call him the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, that Energizer Bunny approach. I mean, there's only a few instances throughout his entire career where I can really remember his striking being, contributing something significant to the outcome of the fight. I mean, he's competent, which is good. He's a great wrestler. He's got great cardio. He has been susceptible to the submission in the past when he got hurt, a la Kenny Florian, Roger Huerta. He has been submitted. He's not invulnerable to being submitted, but he did survive in guards of guys like Hatsuyo Hioki. So I like this matchup. Oliveira, if he wants to win, go ham with the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to take some chances on the feet. Clay Guida is not the most menacing guy on the feet, so you can afford to take those chances.
That energy makes it intimidating. You're not when you're not prepared to, because they're gonna make that pace fast, and if you're not ready for that, it's a lot to deal with.
I really like that fight. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I feel like Oliveira is the younger guy. He doesn't have as much wear and tear on him as Guida does. Guida's been fighting forever. I'm gonna go with Oliveira.
Honestly, as much as I do like Clay Guida, I'm gonna go with Oliveira too, just because it's the smarter pick.
Yeah. Next fight.
Gotta pick with your head, not your heart.
I try. It's a numbers game for me, Sometimes my heart overrides my head, but that's my problem, not yours.
I've got a question about this preliminary card that we're going to address here in a minute. Go ahead and finish listing off the next fight, but I've got a problem with that.
All right,
I'll mention it in a minute.
Again, a crucial flyweight fight, 125-pound fight, is buried on the Fight Pass prelims. Joseph Benavidez, the arguably number 2, number 3 guy in the world behind. I mean, he beat Cejudo, so I'm going to rank him above Cejudo.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was a fun fight. The decision was kind of wonky. Some people thought Cejudo should have won. I go with what history has told. Controversy or not, he got the win. Suck it up.
Yeah, it's whatever the judges say.
Yeah, Sergio Pettis, the baby Pettis. This is a really good fight, and I hate to see it buried on the Fight Pass prelims. I get that they want to put compelling fights on Fight Pass, but they could have stuck another fight here to get, two top 5 guys in the division some more damn exposure.
The whole preliminary card, all of them, the one on Fox Sports 1 and the one on UFC Fight Pass, they've got all kinds of stacked names on there, but they're all worth, each one of those fighters could easily be on a main card of an event. And it just kind of sucks to see matchups like that could
this is a great
mean
matchup.
A lot, but nobody's really going to see them because it's on a prelim card, and everybody always just kind of skips the prelim cards.
Benavidez, one of my alpha male boys. Love the alpha male guys. Pettis, I ripped on his older brother's fanboys a lot coming up. Like I said,
you all right?
I had a hiccup I was fighting off.
You good?
Shut up. You're going to break my train of thought. I don't usually dislike fighters. Like, you can name off just about any fighter on the planet and be like, oh yeah, I like that guy. I like watching him fight. I have a problem with, like, stupid fans. I think I've made that point exceptionally clear.
Yeah.
Like, just the, ha ha ha, your guy sucks, ha ha ha. You know, I hate those kinds of fans.
I think everybody hates those kinds of people.
It's like, it gets on my nerves, and I know some of them do it just to troll, and I have a little bit of troll in me too, so I know I'm just feeding that shit, but, you know, I just...
At least you're honest with yourself, bro.
You gotta be able to self-reflect.
Honestly, I'm calling Benavidez for this one.
I'm picking Sergio, man.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm feeling gutsy on this. Benavidez hasn't fought in a while. You know, I can see every which possible way he might win by out wrestling him. He might win just because Sergio's been susceptible to getting dropped. He's been hurt in fights. But I think coming off that loss to Cejudo, you know, Sergio's 16-3. He's still a young cat. He's still got room to evolve. I think Joseph Benavidez's best days are behind him.
I don't know.
And it hurts me to say that,
We'll
but
have
I'm
to
picking
find out.
Pettis.
I'm picking with Benavidez, man.
Gentleman's bet.
Bet. I ain't
All
putting
right.
no money on him, bro.
That's why it's a gentleman's bet, dumbass. All right, so Rashad Evans, Anthony Smith. This fight really depresses me.
Yeah.
Like, Rashad Evans is on a skid.
This was the thing that I had to bitch about, basically. Excuse my French. She was like, why? I don't get it.
Well, why is because Rashad Evans, dating back to April 21st of 2012, is 2-6 in his last 8 fights.
Damn.
Yeah, he's lost to John Jones, Rodrigo Nogueira, Rogerio Nogueira. I love the Nogueiras. My apologies. So
They're gonna come find you.
John Jones, Lil Nog, beat Dan Henderson, beat Chael Sonnen, lost to Bader, Teixeira, Kelly, and Alvey. I mean, he lost to Sam Alvey, who we were just talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you see why he's on the Fight Pass?
Yeah, I know. I just didn't understand it. It was bugging me.
He's 19-7-1 according to his page. It's
rough, yo.
so depressing.
That's rough, yo.
It's so depressing because, you know, I remember the days of Rashad, like, head kicking Sean Salmon and, you know, beatboxing Chuck and Forrest and Phil.
The good old days.
Just, you know.
The good old days.
Taking Chael Sonnen down and making Chael Sonnen his bitch. I didn't want to say it because I like Chael Sonnen, but he
it happened
Chael
though.
Sonnen,
It did.
You know?
He did. He manhandled him.
No, it breaks my heart to see Rashad Evans in this situation, but it is the name of the game, baby.
Yeah.
You know, time catches up to us all, and I think, you know, Rashad still has some great skills. He still has some good physical attributes. I just don't think it's up here anymore. You know.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it. Anthony Smith. I've seen him fight several times. I know he got dusted by Thiago Santos in his last fight. You remember
Dusted, yes, yeah. I remember
Again,
that.
not trying to be rude.
It's just
turning
that's how
phrase,
it was.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Sorry, I feel like it's boring to be like, and he lost that fight, and he won that. Like, he got dusted.
We don't want to bottle up our personalities
I'm
too much.
spicy. What's up?
Yeah, you know, I can't help it, man. You know, I'm very passionate about this, and I like to have
straight
fun.
Up, Thiago was dusted him.
If you get offended by anything we say on here,
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, you know, I really don't want to pick against Rashad Evans here, but
I'm gonna. I'm sorry. I'm not making that stupid bet.
I
know it hurts.
I know he
it
has
hurts.
skills, and he's a former champion, but I'm going to admit I've lost faith at this point.
I mean, if you're talking about Joseph Benavidez being on the last end of his career, like...
Nah, I'm just thinking, like, dude, you lost to Sam Alvey. Not ripping on Sam Alvey, but not an elite fighter by any stretch of the means.
But enough of our bandwagon of crapping on the preliminary card.
Yeah,
sorry, guys. It's just it's a little.
We don't want to sound super critical, but we want to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's the fight card on UFC Fight Pass, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Preliminary card, Fox Sports 1. It'll be 7 p.m. for us. You know, East Coast. That'll be. I don't care. Rashad Coltier and Chris De La Rocha.
Bro, everybody on the coast is gonna just roast you.
I don't care. I don't.
Oh,
Pardon my French here, people.
I know.
Curse word warning. I don't give a fuck.
We need like a parental advisory sticker on the bottom of our podcast. Be like,
I want one.
Like, dude, don't let your kids watch this.
If you are easily offended, this is probably not the show for you, bro.
No.
Or chica, ladies, gents, whatever your identifier
People.
is. Yeah, to all our people out there.
Before I rudely
We are all
interrupted
people.
you, Ricardo Lamas versus.
No, I didn't even get to the first.
Oh, did you
part.
not?
Yeah, we got to jaw jacking.
Rashad Coulter versus Chris De La Rocha. Hey, I said that right.
Yeah.
Look at
I don't
that.
know anything about De La Rocha. Only thing I remember about Coulter is I've seen him get laid out. Like, again, not trying to be rude, but that's just all I can remember about the guy. I'm sure he's a nice gentleman. I'm sure he trains really hard, but that's just all I can remember of the guy off the top of my head.
Yo, I don't even know who either of these two are. I'm picking De La Rocha because that's a badass last name. That's the only reason I'm going with that. Just gonna let you know now. There's no logic behind it.
I'll pick Coulter just because you're picking De La Rocha. Moving on, Ricardo Lamas and Mirsad Bektic. I love this fight and I hate it at the same time. I love this fight because it's a great matchup. Ricardo Lamas is a vet. You know, he's one of the long-time guys here at 145. Mirsad Bektic is an up-and-comer. He's a prospect. I think he will be a title contender. How long it takes him to get to that point, I can't really say. You know, I'm not a genie. I don't have a magic ball.
If you did, I'd done ask for a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. I think that, you know, Mirsad Bektic can do everything Ricardo Lamas does,
Yeah.
but better, and it's
He's a
more
little-
well put together.
He's a little fresher too. He's a younger
Yeah,
fighter.
I think that the Darren Elkins fight for Mirsad Bektic when he got stopped in the third round, I think
Yeah.
that was a huge learning experience for him. As you saw in his last fight, he came out and dusted Godfredo Pepe.
Yeah.
Just that overhand right to the...
Man, dude, that was so
Oh.
sick. So smooth.
Yeah, and then Ricardo Lamas in his fight got laid out with a big left hook by Josh Emmett.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that broke my heart because Lamas is one of these guys who's been around for so long.
Been out for a hot minute, man.
You know, I continue to say, there are very few fighters that I dislike. I like pretty much watching everybody fight. Some styles I find more entertaining than others, but at the end of the day, I remember these people are human beings and they're trying to support their families. They're trying to take care of themselves. They come from all sorts of different backgrounds, and this is their opportunity. They've fought to this point to get here to make something of themselves. And it does hurt me a little bit to see some of these guys lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and
You get emotionally attached to them, man. You watch them fight for so long, it's kind of like you watch them grow, especially as a martial artist, and then when they lose, you're like, but I had so much faith. It sucks.
You know, I remember Ricardo Lamas fighting in the WEC, and from the time when I first started watching in 2008, you know, old school Faber versus Pulver, Condit versus Mira, you know, when Dana White was saying there'd never be female fighters in the UFC. Now we had our first openly gay female versus female title fight. Like, that's fucking awesome
That's
to me.
some cool shit.
Pardon my French again. I'm sorry. I got to work on that. You know, it's just... Long story short, I'm picking Bektic.
Same.
Same.
Yeah.
All right. Claudia Gadelia versus Carla Esparza. Speaking of the ladies,
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
I really like this fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for this
I
one.
really like this
I'm
fight.
going to go ahead and tell you now I'm going for Claudia Gadelia. Just letting you know.
I was going to say the same. I think she does everything that Esparza does, but better.
Yeah.
My biggest criticism of Gadelia has been her biggest criticism throughout her career is her cardio.
Yeah, she needs to work on that a little bit.
Yeah, she's kind of like a 10-minute fighter, as some have called her. After 10 minutes, that gas tank's just no longer there. She's very tough though. That fight versus Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade put it on her.
Man, that was a
Woo!
good fight. Good fight. And if you ever want to
She
watch,
toughed it out.
by the way, if you ever want to watch any of the fights that we're mentioning, just head over to UFC.com. They've got literally like everything. on there.
UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I wanted to make it loud and clear.
For the people in the back.
Also, it's going to be on ESPN soon.
Yeah, that
And
too.
if you're one of the people who streams and, it's like, I'm not going to tell you to break the law, but I get it. I get it.
Did you just promote illegal stuff?
No, I said I'm not going to promote breaking the law, but I get it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it. But definitely check out some of these fights we mentioned because they are awesome, super awesome, and it'll kind of help you get a little insight on some of the fighters that are going to be fighting and stuff like that.
All right, so moving on. Headliner of the Fox Sports 1 prelims: Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades. Who you got? I'm gonna put you on the spot and make a pick, and then we'll go into the breakdown.
Man, honestly, Curtis Blades. No, because they both. I'm just trying to think about both of their last fights.
Curtis Blades, did really well against Mark Hunt his last fight.
He did really, really well, man.
But he got caught in the first round pretty hard a couple of times, and that was my big criticism of him going into that fight. Is he's very vulnerable on the feet still.
I mean, they've both gotten caught. Alistair and Blades both have gotten hit with some pretty hard stuff in rocks.
Yeah, but this is my. Or hold on, you pick Curtis Blades?
Yeah.
All right, this is my interpretation of how this fight goes. Alistair Overeem has been knocked out a lot of times.
Like a lot.
He's a very talented fighter, but he is prone to just complete and utter mental lapses. I mean, there's no other way for me to describe it. It's just sometimes it seems like he doesn't think, and that may seem like a harsh criticism, but again, if you're getting offended by what I'm saying, take it how it is. I don't care. Curtis Blades, still critical of his stand-up skills because, you know, he got hurt bad by Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
But he showed the ability to survive.
But Mark Hunt hits like a freight truck.
Exactly. He got hit by some hard shots and survived getting hurt by Mark Hunt, former K1 kickboxing
dude, like big.
Yeah. And where I'm worried in this fight, as far as like the stylistic matchup, Alistair Overeem is a much better defensive wrestler than Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
He's a different style of athlete. You know, he's got he's got more fast twitch muscle fibers.
He's a little bit more explosive than Mark Hunt is, for sure.
He's not a shorter, stockier guy, you know?
He's got a lot of more reach than Mark Hunt did.
I think what's going to be indicative for Curtis Blades in this fight and where it's really going to unfold.
Indicative? That was a good word. I like that.
I'm trying to sound smarter, man. I'm trying to be more professional. If Overeem stuffs those first couple of takedowns, how does Curtis Blades react on the feet?
Yeah, because that not only does it's a mental thing. Like if you go,
does he panic and make
exactly.
mistakes,
That's what
or
I'm
does
saying.
he say, "All right, screw it, I'm a jab cross"?
Stick to what you know. Use your bread and butter, man.
I mean,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna go with Blades just because of his last performance and how he's been doing and how much he's been progressing. Because. Not that I don't like Alistair, I feel like he's a better matchup. You know what I mean? I feel like Blades has just got the upper hand with this, even though he is kind of susceptible to getting roadblocked, I guess, for lack of better terms.
I'm picking Blades, and this is my idea behind it. The idea on how to beat Blades is pretty simple. Don't let him take you down. Stay on the outside. Pick him off with shots. Or if you're in the clinch, land hard knees. That's the idea for Alistair Overeem. Pick him off at a distance, hit him with hard shots in the clinch. Shut down the wrestling if it appears.
Yeah.
For Blades, he's got to get it to the ground. But with that train of thought, there's a possible game plan. If he's going to be a contender, like a lot of people are hoping he is, I think he's got some promise of being a contender one day, but he's got to prove it. If the wrestling gets shut down, half-heartedly attempt that, do a convincing fake of the takedown, throw a couple punches. Alistair Overeem has been knocked out several times. If you can touch his chin, you can put him to sleep.
And I'm sure he knows that Alistair Overeem knows about his wrestling. He knows that he's going to be this game plan, so he's going to have some contingency plans for if his wrestling doesn't work and if it does get stumped. I'm pretty sure he's going to have some kind of backup plan. I would hope he would. I would, but that's just me. So he might, he may not. We'll just have to see if he can actually use his wrestling to his advantage and basically wrestle fuck Overeem.
Yeah, just seeing how many of the old guard, are falling off. We saw Fabricio Verdum get knocked out recently by Alex. Oh, shit, I can't remember his name.
Point is, you lost.
Sorry. Yeah. God,
that's gonna bug you now.
Me. Yeah,
it's gonna bug you now.
It's gonna bug me.
It's gonna bug
me. Hold on, I gotta look it up. Because he was the former Bellator champ, dang it. I know who the guy is.
Regardless, I'll let him find his name. But the point is we're seeing this new wave of...
Alexander Volkov,
there
damn
you
it.
go. We're seeing this new wave of fighters that are coming in who have a lot of potential. They have a lot of room to grow. And
the older guys are just more dead set in their ways. You know,
Yeah.
there are clear things you can do to beat them.
Well, I mean, once you do something for so long and it works, what's the point? Like, don't fix it if it's not broke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, if you have a game plan and it's worked for you up until now, until somebody stops your game plan, there's really no logical reason for you to stop doing what you were doing. But because that happens, like you said, they get stuck in their ways. And these new cats, they come in and they find out these little idiosyncrasies that make them win that fight.
Incremental improvements.
Yeah.
Where Alistair Overeem is pretty much the fighter, like there's you know, he's
Like,
been
he's
been the
done,
same
like,
fighter for a long time at this point.
Plateaued.
But he has all that skill and all that experience and all that knowledge. He could totally beat Curtis Blades. I'm just siding with the guy who's, you know, got a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more of the unknown. We could totally be wrong, but again, I'm playing the odds here. Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades.
All right.
That's the last that's the last fight for the Fox Sports 1 preliminary card. Now we're going to get to the main one. You can go ahead and just rush through them. I really don't have a whole lot to say about each one of them.
I got a lot to say about this this fight on the main card. CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. All right. I personally have nothing against CM Punk. He was given an opportunity to try something. Everything that I've listened to of him talking, him speaking about it, the way that people have talked to him, have talked about him, you know, just his dedication, stuff like that. He is really trying to make a go at this.
Which is admirable. Dude, if somebody asked me...
He's got huge balls.
Yeah, if somebody asked me to get in the ring and be like, hey, even if you lose, we're still going to pay you this. Be like, bet, I'll fight tomorrow. What's up? And that's basically what he's getting to the opportunity for, and I'd go for it. Hell yeah.
And here's my 2 cents on him being on the pay-per-view. I don't have a problem with him being on the pay-per-view if it means Tai Tuivasa gets more exposure, if Megan Anderson gets more exposure, if Robert Whittaker gets more exposure. You know, if and you can kind of see who my favorites are. For
yeah, you're about to say, I think we know all the picks you're going to make for all these cards.
You know, if it means these guys get more exposure because people are going to tune in to see CM Punk and they so happen to stumble across them, I'm okay with that. I just want people to be honest about the fact that no, he doesn't deserve to be on there. Like, you could say the amount of attention he's going to bring to the fight is worth it.
Yeah.
But his
skill
his
level.
achievements and his achievements in outside combat sports and his achievements in MMA haven't earned him that right to be on the pay-per-view.
Maybe on
the
the
eyes
prelim
that
card.
yeah, no, not even on the prelim cards. I don't want to get on break my train of thought. Just let me say what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
It's his second fight in MMA. I'm with Joe Rogan on this. He should be on some amateur card somewhere. Achievements in the sport, wins and losses.
They should
He
win
doesn't.
something.
You're breaking my train of thought. Based on what he has done in combat sports and MMA, he does not deserve to be on the pay-per-view. But the fact that his notoriety in professional wrestling is bringing eyes to young fighters on this card and bringing more viewership to the sport, I will accept that as long as people are honest about that being the factor. So, I don't really care who wins this fight, to be honest. I'll watch it, because like I said, I'm a fight fan. Like I said, I don't care. Moving on to a fighter we really do care about. Mark Hunt's training partner, his boy, Tai Tuivasa, fight Andrei Arlovski. This fight also breaks my heart because Andrei Arlovski is one of my all-time favorite heavyweight fighters, regardless of what sport. I love the guy.
I don't think he's going to win.
I think he's going to get knocked
like
clean
smooth out, like cold.
Now, that's not to say that Andre can't pull out them old wily veteran tricks and box him up or take him down, clinch stall him. I mean, he obviously has those skills, but here's like my kind of theme of the night. I'm siding with the potential and room for growth over guys who are clearly as good as they're going to get.
Yeah.
And Andrei Arlovski's been knocked out a lot of times.
I feel that's been kind of the theme with this whole card. It's like, it's newer cats with potential versus people who have already like established themselves as fighters. I kind of noticed that.
Yeah. mean, the only fight where you could really like make some argument on that would be Oliveira and Guida because they have both been around for a long time.
Yeah. Or
but Guida's been around longer.
Even the Robert Whittaker fight and the Yoel Romero, they've both been around almost about the same amount of time.
As far as MMA experience.
Yeah. Not UFC experience, but just fighting experience altogether.
Low column A, low column B. You
want to go, dude? What's up?
I can't help it. I nitpick, bro.
I know.
All right, so Tai Tuivasa, I'm picking him to win by knockout.
Yeah.
It's just I've seen Andrei Arlovski get knocked out a lot of times. Not that he can't, pull out some crazy Travis Brown style performance. But
we've seen it happen before.
I don't find it as likely.
So you're actually going to call a knockout though with it?
Oh yeah, he's
he's going to go.
I'm doubling down on this.
Just to play devil's advocate and holler for my boy, I'm going to go for Andrei Arlovski. Although I don't think it's possible, I'm just doing it because I like him. I'm going with my heart this time.
I absolutely 100% love Andrei Arlovski. He is one of my favorites, right up there with like Nog and Crow Cop and Junior. One of my favorites. But it's a new era.
But the main reason I'm picking him is just because of the fact that, and this is the reason I love fighting in general, is the fact that anything can happen. Like you said, he could just pull a win out of his ass, pull some old guard or veteran stuff, and win that one. But
don't call it a comeback.
Exactly.
I've been here for years.
Exactly. So you never know what's going to happen with the fight. That's what makes him so exciting. So I'm going to go with Arlovski on this one, just to play a little devil's advocate. But we're going to have to write all these down so we remember.
Quick note on that. If Tai Tuivasa is going to win, most likely going to knock him out. If Arlovski wins, it'll be just a really grizzled veteran kind of approach. That's just my take on it. But I'm still picking Tuivasa. Okay, so next fight, women's featherweight, Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. Got a lot of Aussies.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Love this card. Who you got? Because we're going to break this bitch down.
Yeah, okay, so right off the top, you have one person who is extremely experienced. Holly Holm has been in this game for a long, especially even kickboxing. She's been doing this for a hot minute. She kickboxed
for a while. She's world champion female boxer. I mean,
now Megan Anderson, she's fought in Invicta for a little while, and
this is going to be her 11th pro fight.
But nowhere near the amount of experience from Holly Holm, and it's one of those things where like, is the person with the possible potential going to be able to establish a good enough game plan to beat the person who has already established their game plan? You feel me? And so because of that, like, I like to root for underdogs, and I want to go with Megan Anderson, but as like just because I know how fights are and I know how that shit goes, I'm going with Holly Holm on this one.
Yeah, I was terrified at points for Megan Anderson versus Charmaine Tweed because I don't want to sound overly critical, but Charmaine Tweed is not anywhere near
like
elite.
Holly Holm level. Yeah, no.
Like just straight up, like high level skill set, nowhere in the ballpark of Holly Holm, not even remotely close. I'm sorry, I know this can sound critical, but if it offends you, I don't care. And Megan Anderson, she has the potential to do great things. She's a big girl for, as far as size and stature.
She's real tall, isn't she?
She's
for that weight class.
She's tall for, a woman, I guess you could say. I mean, I've seen, on the taller end women, but both the, my mom's and my sister, that are all like, between 5'4" and like 5'7".
Yeah.
But
who do you think? Like I said, I'm calling Holly on this one.
Gotta be Holly.
See, even Steve's got
Holly.
it. Steve's got it.
It's one of those things where if Megan Anderson comes out and she just runs into shots the same way she did against Charmaine Tweed, Holly Holm's gonna have a field day.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rough because like you said, she was just okay with getting hit. Like she
landed that right hand and was like, oh, all I gotta do is hit her.
Pretty much, but she stood right in front of her and swung at her while her opponent was just literally beating the snot out of her, and it was just one of those like, I know you gotta take one to give one, but it comes to a point where like you have to avoid damage the best as possible. You know what I'm saying? And your game plan can't be to just go in there and get hit and hit back. You'll lose.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction on this one. because both y'all picked Holly Holm, so I gotta pick Megan
I
Anderson.
mean,
at
you
this
got
point.
to now. Yeah,
I
at
gotta
this
play
point.
the odds now. I'm seeing an underdog bet going on right here in this living room. I don't know what the actual odds are. I'm gonna go with the underdog.
I mean, if she's not the underdog, then they're high. I'm just saying.
Realistically, if you
But hey, it's,
Holly Holm's got more MMA fights, more boxing experience, more combat sports experience in general. What were you saying, Steve?
if she were to come out and beat up, Holly Holmes, that would be just devastating.
Oh, yeah, no,
That
people would
just
lose
make-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be intense.
I mean,
If that were to happen.
Anderson is the younger fighter. She's the naturally larger fighter. Holly Holm has fought at 135. Did fight at 135 in MMA for the majority of her, MMA career. She has fought, at 145 against Cyborg and Miranda Mean. But I'm siding with the potential on this because as we've seen clearly what Holly Holm is all about, I think, Megan Anderson could give her some trouble in the clinch. She could give her some trouble along the fence. It's all about, can she get her there?
Yeah.
I think she can.
Man, I don't know. I think she's going to keep her at a distance. I don't think she's going to let her get on the inside because that's when we were watching that last fight, that's one thing I noticed with her. She likes to get on the inside. Megan does. She likes to try to get as close as much distance as she possibly can so she can land her strikes. And Holly Holm, she's lanky. If she can keep her away with say kicks, long strikes, things like that, she might be able to just pitter patter until she's done.
Megan Anderson, late stoppage. I'm going bold.
I'm going Holly Holm at least first or second round, early stoppage.
Oh, that's bolder than it.
Yeah.
That is bold. All right,
Dude,
all right, gentlemen.
I'm telling you,
right
I
here,
feel
brother.
like I'm just because of experience wise, like I've watched both of these ladies fight, and you can clearly tell who is the more experienced one. Like no matter how much potential one has, like at this moment, that possible potential doesn't mean anything if it's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like if she's not doing anything with it or growing progressively enough for it to not be just potential anymore and it be something. It's kind of like you're fighting with hypothetical things at that point.
Yeah.
And right now, the clear, better opponent is Holly Holm, so that's who I'm going with.
That Charmaine Tweet fight was a year and a half ago.
It's still, yeah, and year and a half is a lot of time to grow, but I'm sorry. You can't talk me out of it, bud.
All right.
Holly Holm in it.
That'd be good fun.
So, co-main event time. Rafael Dos Anjos, Colby Covington.
Man. Oh, good. I don't know. I'm going to go with Rafael Dos Anjos. I like him.
Scuba Steve, I'm pretty sure you don't really know anything about these guys. What do you think?
It's gotta be Anjos. I don't want to see Covington win. I don't want to see him win. I don't like his ego.
He was so slurred with that. I don't want to see him win.
I don't want to see him win because he's a newer guy. He's proven himself, but still,
Steve.
he's got that big ego. But number one's number one, man.
You're right. I'm going with Rafael Dos Anjos on this one. For
I
sure.
am as well. And this is my reasoning behind it. I was impressed to an extent with Covington's performance over Damian Maia. Beating Damian Maia is always going to be, impressive.
Yeah.
Maia's not an easy guy to
He's
beat.
no pushover.
No. But I did see some serious flaws. I mean, he got marked up by Damian Maia on the feet.
Yeah, and Damian Maia is notable for his jiu-jitsu and ground game, correct?
I mean, not to say that Maia can't, throw some good strikes when he needs to, but I mean,
you don't throw strikes like Rafael Dos Anjos, though. They're in a league of their own. Man.
Dos Anjos can really do it. He can fight off his back. He can wrestle. He can fight in the clinch. He can fight at distance. He can brawl with you. He is an all-rounder. He is one of these like Dan Henderson types where he's got a little bit of everything. He's fought some of the best. He's fought up. He's fought down.
Like no matter where you put him, he's going to be able to.
He's going to be a tough fight, And people say, "Oh, well, yeah, we got knocked out by Eddie Alvarez, doofus."
God, I wish he talked like that all the time. I'd hang out constantly.
It's a thing where.
Honestly, I don't really like this matchup. I don't think it's a good matchup.
For me, this fight plays out in a couple ways. Dos Anjos comes out and sleeps him. Covington comes out and sleeps him. Dos Anjos and him have a very tough back and forth fight that one guy kind of ekes out over the other, or it's a back and forth fight and there's a huge momentum shift and one guy wins.
Somebody will find their rhythm.
And I pretty much just laid out how any fight could go.
I was gonna say, I was
but,
like, those sound real vague. I feel like any fight can happen with that, but you're right. All those are possibilities.
And I'm stating the obvious, but this is where the fight gets for me. Is Covington, what did impress me, like I said, I was impressed to an extent. What impressed me in that fight with Damian Maia is he's tough,
Yeah, he can take a beating
he's got
for
that
sure.
hard nose, like he didn't get turned off by the cut that Damian Maia gave him. He didn't give up when he was tired. He just went like, I'm going for it, I'm getting it, I'm going to go. And he talks a lot of crap, and,
But that brings in viewers, man. People love that.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking on him for it. Do you, boo-boo. I can respect him for it. He's being himself. Everybody says, oh, he's just trying to pull the Conor McGregor shtick. I've listened to guys close to him, and they say he's just being himself. So, hats off to him. But I just think that Dos Anjos has more tools, is more versatile, and it's just, to me, the matchup is more favorable for Dos Anjos because he has more ways to win.
I felt like this was kind of almost like a here you go. Have fun.
Yeah, for me, it's just like Covington can win if he grinds him out with his wrestling, or if he catches him with a big shot. Dos Anjos can win if he grinds him out. It can be clear domination. It's just my brain's telling me that it's more likely that Dos Anjos will win, so that's where I'm going with it.
There's a lot to do. I like how you just went around all that to get to that point.
I like to talk, man. I can't help it.
but-
Tell me to shut up sometimes, man. Just interject and be like, dude, shut your
Well, half the time when
blabbering.
I do, you yell at me and say I'm interrupting you.
Well, you have discipline. You
So, Dos Anjos, correct?
yeah, I'm going with Dos
Alright,
Anjos.
Same.
So everyone goes for Dos Anjos. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure he's the favorite in this one. I haven't got
I'd
to
love
look
to
at,
see Dos Anjos win.
I haven't got to
Covington
look
just
at all of
seems-
the the actual ratings for everything in Vegas or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure Rafael Dos Anjos is the favorite on this fight. But that's
Yeah.
the co-main event for the
Yeah.
main card.
I think Dos Anjos will get it by solid, clear decision win, or maybe a submission.
Yeah.
If Covington wins, it'll probably be a grinding decision or maybe a TKO.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, main event time.
The one I'm super excited for,
Really like this fight.
Robert Whittaker versus Yoel Romero rematch. It's gonna be lit, y'all. Because I don't know if you watched the first fight, but it was lit. It was so good, and there's so many different things that
Lingo with top knot thought.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I hang out with a bunch of hood rats sometimes, and they all have.
Dude with that plaid shirt and that top knot saying
Not
you hang
like
out with a bunch
hood
of two
rats,
guys.
but they're definitely not your proper people for sure. We don't walk around with sweaters around our shoulders drinking tea, that's for sure. But my point, before you rudely interrupted me, damn it, Kyle, I remember what I was going to... There's so many things with this rematch that could make the outcome a bit different than the last one, because, hell, Robert Whittaker might not blow out his ACL in the first round of the fight. He might actually be A-okay and 100% physically going
Will that
through
make
it.
him too confident? Will it make him just more tactical?
Is he going to be wary of Romero doing that again to him? You got to... There's so many different things going in this fight that, honestly, I don't even want to call it. I'm just going to wait to watch it. He's like, no, I am. I want Robert Whittaker to win just because I want to win.
Bobby Knuckles!
Bobby Knuckles! But if I actually had to pick a logical one, I couldn't. There's too many variables. There's too many things that could or not happen, and I'm just going to wait to see. But I want Whittaker to win.
Yeah, I think that where Romero would have to change up the game plan to be more successful in this fight is come out and, instead of going so hard on the wrestling starting out, balance it out a little bit more, strike a little bit, wrestle a little bit, try and be more balanced, because, he does like to have those times where he's just not doing anything. He likes, as they say, he likes to take breaks.
Yeah.
He likes to take his foot off the gas and just kind of lull you to sleep, and then as we saw in that last fight against Luke Rockhold, that it's
ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But my thing with it, though, I agree with that. I feel like if he's going to have a better chance against Whittaker, Romero needs to kind of pace himself and not go, because wrestling it's a lot different like cardio game than striking is. You get down on the ground, it takes a lot out of you, and if you try to keep that high pace with wrestling, you're going to be gassed by round 3, especially if this is a 5-round fight. It's going to be just like the last one, and that's what happened. He was breathing hard by at least round 4.
It takes a lot less energy to throw a jab than to shoot a double.
Yeah. And so if he's going to have an advantage in this, he's got to fix up that cardio. Not necessarily like he has bad cardio, but just the pacing of it. And not blasting all of his doors off all at once. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was pretty clear that he got the conditioning became a factor after the second round.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how Whittaker won. He won the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. But Romero was still there at the end of that fight coming after.
Oh, yeah, no, he wasn't just out of the fight completely, but you could tell that it was making a difference.
The conditioning was a huge factor.
Yeah. But, and that makes me think, if Robert Whittaker's knee hadn't have just exploded like it did, I feel like that he would have won that a little bit more decisively in the first fight than he did this time. You know, I don't feel like it would have been such a close decision, just because he waited him out, really. He paced himself better. He picked his shots a little bit more, and he just, I don't know, man. I hate rematches sometimes because you know exactly, like, you know all the things that could or could not happen just from watching the last fight, but you still have no idea what's going to happen.
I think this fight I've been, running this matchup in my head over and over again since they announced it. I probably watched their first fight about 6 times. I know we watched it right before we started recording. I'm siding with Robert Whittaker. You know, I like Yoel Romero. I think that wrestling is a huge problem. But, we never really saw what Romero could do if he established top control and worked those elbows that he knocked out Machida with. You know, we never saw that. We don't know what Whittaker will be like if he can really put pressure on that front leg, and there are a lot of variables, but just seeing the way that Robert Whittaker has approached fighting over the past few years,
he's grown exponentially.
Yeah, there's been a lot of incremental, just little things that have accumulated in this. I I talk about him like kind of being a point kickboxer.
Yeah.
He takes principles of point karate with a traditional karate background, and then mixes it with kickboxing as far as like how he jumps in with that 1-2, mixes up that beautiful front kick to the left hook.
We gotta coin that phrase where somebody steals it. Point kickboxing. It's a good one. I like it. But you're right though, and that's exactly what they're doing. And even though they might not be fighting for points, it's the same similar style, and it's that going and hitting and backing up and waiting again, and it's very.
It's just like the kill shot,
yeah.
know. It's just the shot that lands, the shot that kills.
They're going for quality, not quantity, in a sense.
And I'm picking Romero, or not. I'm sorry. I'm picking Robert Whittaker, Bobby Knuckles. Because I think that, he's damn talented and he's a smart fighter, and not that Romero isn't incredibly gifted genetically and isn't, silver medalist in the Olympics for wrestling. You don't get that far by being a slouch. The Cuban Olympic teams have a huge history of just being producers of great athletes. I think the stand-up difference is going to be where it's at,
Plus, he almost got such a weird style of how he throws and stuff like that. I feel like he was trying to confuse Whittaker, and Whittaker just wasn't having any of it. He's like, nah, I see right through it.
I'm gonna make another bold prediction: Whittaker 2nd round TKO.
Yeah, I would at least go for maybe 3rd round. Because like I said before, if Yoel Romero does fight like he did in the last fight, those first 2 rounds, dude, he's gonna be coming out there hard. He's going to use all of it, everything that he's got in those first 3 rounds. And so if Robert Whittaker does win by, say, a TKO, I think it's going to be in the later round. Not too late, but I say about 3rd, maybe 4th. I agree with the TKO. I don't think he's just going to knock him out cold. I think he's going to hit him. He's going to fall, go down on the ground with it. But I don't think it's going to be that early. So, same call, but third round. Dude, I'm excited for this fight card now. It's gonna be
I really like this fight card.
It's going to be a good pay-per-view. It's going to be on Saturday. Sorry.
Saturday, June 9th.
June 9th. It is a pay-per-view, so you'll have to go to your local listings to be able to purchase that, whatnot. But you can still check out the prelim cards on Fight Pass and Fox Sports 1.
You can usually find it at Hooters, Buffalo Wild Wings, sports
too.
bars.
I forgot about that. If you want to go out to have a couple drinks, eat some chicken wings.
I might be doing that.
Dude, that actually sounds like a really good idea.
Well, I'm kind of broke. I might have to be like, hey, who wants to go out?
Y'all want to make some donations to the... But no, be sure to check these fights out this weekend, guys. They're going to be stacked. It's going to be awesome. Plus, we want to hear y'all's opinions about everything. If you guys have some calls on these, or if you don't agree with our predictions or do agree with them, please let us know.
No such thing as bad press.
No, not at all. If you guys want to comment or tell us we're stupid, hey, at least y'all commented. What's up?
It's like you hated us so much that you had to leave a comment. That means we're winning.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't matter at this point. We're winning. You watched us.
All right, so gonna transition real quick. Talk about some boxing. 3 really interesting fights going on this weekend. Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Moraes. Featherweight World Championship fight in boxing. I think that's 126. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. Not really. There's 18 different weight classes in boxing.
It's a little ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous.
But this is a rematch. We saw that first fight. I think it was back in 2015 when they first fought.
Yeah.
Solid fight. Leo Santa Cruz. It was a real gritty battle starting out, but Santa Cruz started to pull away. You know, he fights really well on the inside for being a tall, long guy. Real good on the outside. I know a lot of people criticized him for kind of cherry-picking opponents early in his career. I like this fight. I'm going with Santa Cruz. I think he can repeat. I think it'll be more dominant this go-around.
Yeah, I agree with that fully. I think Santa Cruz is going to win this one again.
And then, other fight on the card, Jamel Charlo and Austin Trout. That'll be a fun fight. The Charlo brothers are racking it up these days. Not going to go too in detail on this. Showtime, Saturday, June 9th, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. See, I have to read it because that's the only thing I found it in. Really like this fight. I'm going to try and watch it. Probably won't catch it live, but I will make an attempt to catch it afterwards. Moving on. ESPN Plus, 9:30 p.m. June 9th. Jeff Horn, Terrence Crawford. Jeff Horn, beat Manny Pacquiao a while back. Beat some guy who I don't really remember in his last fight. Not to be rude, but just saying.
He beat the Pac-Man?
Yeah, he beat Pacquiao. He's fighting Terrence Crawford, though. Just to be blunt, we've gone on a lot. Terrence Crawford's going to fuck him up.
Pretty much. Terry Crawford's a beast.
Legit. First Crawford fight I saw was when he beat up Gamboa. That was a great fight. Do have some concerns that Crawford may be getting a little bit lackadaisical in his defense. That may seem like a harsh criticism there, but I've just seen some things. Lackadaisical, man. Just shut up, man. You're fucking breaking my train of thought. God, I've been talking.
I just never heard that word before, bro. I was shocked. I was like, what? My bad.
Yeah,
Continue.
WBO welterweight title, that's 147 pounds. Crawford's moving up from 140. First guy in a long time to unify all the belts in a weight class. He was the undisputed, unnegotiable champ at 140. He's going to beat Jeff Horn up. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow, but I call it how I see it. Now, touching up on Tyson Fury is finally coming back. He hasn't fought since he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Since then, Klitschko lost to Anthony Joshua and retired. That was a fantastic fight. I really want to see Tyson Fury come out, strut it around a little bit, maybe take a couple rounds, just have some fun, get that, shake off them cobwebs and stuff.
Yeah.
I have no doubt he's going to beat this guy. 10 p.m. Again, Saturday, June 9th. There's a lot of fights going on this weekend. You don't like one, you can watch the other. I don't care as long as you're watching something.
Right? Get your butts on them couches and watch
Tyson
people hit
Fury
each other.
wins this fight. We could see Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. I want to see that fight almost as much as I want to see Joshua versus Wilder, but I will accept Fury fighting Joshua just because that's going to be a huge fight for the UK. That's going to be sell out Wembley Stadium in a heartbeat kind of
it's going to be
fight.
intense.
I mean, I love that fight. I hope Fury wins and they set that fight up. I know that kind of puts Wilder on the back burner, but maybe it's the fight game. I still want to see you fight Joshua, but it is what it is, bro.
It is what it is.
All right, so
quick little rundown. We got UFC fight
UFC 225, Saturday, June 9th. Santa Cruz versus Moraes 2, Saturday night, June 9th. Crawford versus Horn, Saturday night, June 9th. Tyson Fury versus Sefer. I'm not going to butcher that nice gentleman's name.
Safari, I think it's Safari.
The Fury and Sefer fight will be BT Sport 1 AT, probably streaming on YouTube for the guys here in the UK. Crawford and Horn, ESPN Plus, you must have the subscription. Cruz Moraes, Showtime, UFC 2025, UFC Fight Pass, Fox Sports 1, pay-per-view.
You gonna be alright, Kyle?
That's a rundown for this weekend. Couple of hot topics
many
in
fights.
news.
So many fights.
Always great to be a fight fan these days because there's always some fights to watch. I know we want to just touch up briefly on.
Yeah, we're gonna run through a little bit of news stuff. I think you had a couple.
Golovkin and Canelo negotiations have pretty much died.
Yeah.
They're
It's probably
like
not gonna
60-40 per split, 55-45 per split. I don't care. I just want y'all guys to get it sorted out so I can see you fight. UFC's talking about removing the early weigh-ins. I think it's stupid because the guys who are struggling to make weight now are still going to struggle to make weight.
It's not going to fix anything.
Yeah, there's still going to be guys not making weight. What they got to do is start just canceling fights if guys make weight. I know they'll be like, oh, that's going to ruin cards. The guy's not making weight.
Yeah, he shouldn't be able to fight if he's not making weight anyway.
Because you don't see this shit happening in boxing.
There's a reason Dana White gets so pissed off when people don't make weight. It's because there's no reason you shouldn't. You're a professional fight. I'm not yet.
Unless you took the fight on 2 days notice.
Yeah.
Or 11 days notice or some shit like that. I'll give you up to 2 weeks out. You take the fight and miss weight. If you're just be a professional. I don't want to criticize anybody unduly, but some of this missing weight shit that's been happening lately is getting a little out of hand.
Yeah.
You don't see this in boxing, and I get it. Boxing has a weight class like every 2.5 ounces, but just come on, guys. Like it's you're bringing some unnecessary negativity to the sport. And I get stuff happens and things happen, but when you got Mackenzie Dern missing weight by like 7.5 pounds.
That is probably the best way to fix the whole weight problem thing is to make the stipulations for missing weight higher.
Yeah, they need to start. No win bonus if you win. Just show purse. Start canceling fights if you come in on the day of the fight over a certain weight, like they threatened to do with Darren Till.
Yeah.
Let's stop babying these guys. They are professionals. They are athletes. And again, I don't want to sound too harsh, but I'm just trying to give an objective view on an issue in the sport, and it's got to be fixed. Let's get the 125, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 205, 225, everything else above, be heavyweight or maybe, throw a 230-pound division in there. If that's what we got to do to fix the issue, I'm all for it. That means more divisions, more champs, more fights, whatever it is. Guys are going to have to be more professional. There's obviously going to have to be some weight class fixes. Let's just come together. I love the sport. I want to see it grow. Let's stop making this issue such a big issue.
We're just making things difficult. That's all it is.
I know there's going to be
so
some
easy.
people out there, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro.
No,
you're hating. It's like, I'm trying to be honest.
I've had to cut weight before. I've known people that cut weight before. It sucks. There's nothing fun about it. Nothing fun about it. But
when I was drinking beer and
when you're a
malt liquor,
professional,
eating Cheetos and stuff, I'd have to drop 5 or 6 pounds just to bring my weight for the PT test below.
Yeah, so
it's not the same. It's not nearly the same. But I'm just saying, I get it.
It sucks, but y'all are getting paid buku money to do this. This is your job, I guess.
It's part of your requirement of the job. Make the damn weight.
Yeah.
All right, so getting off my soapbox.
Off the soapboxes.
As always, you can find us here on Facebook, Martial Arts Talk. find us on YouTube. You can find the channel. Easiest way to find us, go to adjust your search on YouTube, Martial Arts Talk. It'll pop up. It'll be our picture from the Facebook page. I try and keep everything the same. On Twitter, at Martial Art Talk, same picture from the Facebook page. It's on the YouTube page. I try and keep it all connected, people. Again, at Martial Art Talk.
We need to get like a, you know how like Joe Rogan has like that thing, like his face, like we need to do something like that, like have a logo, I guess. Side talk, sorry. But yeah, find us there, guys. If, like I said before, comment, like, share, do all of it. Give us some feedback. Tell us what y'all think. If you think we suck, we suck. If you think we were great, we're great. Tell us what y'all think about these fights. Are y'all excited about them? Who you think you're going to win?
We want feedback.
Tell us what y'all think. Even if you think Romero's going to go out there
Feedback.
and everybody. Feedback. Do it.
All right, so again, Saturday night's going to be a great night of fights. On Twitter, at Martial Art Talk. You can find me on Twitter, at JamCracken93. YouTube, Facebook. We try and keep it all the same. Got questions, comments, concerns, likes. Give us some shares. Give us some shout-outs. You hate us, give us a share. Just dissing us, I don't care, as long as you're sharing and talking about us.
I think we've begged them enough.
All right. Signing off, ladies and
See you
gentlemen.
guys.
Peace.
It won't do it.
Damn it, Steve.
Hey, guys.
It won't do it.